Fishing community remains essential to economic, social development of Uganda as a country, and the future of this fishing in the country depends on the balance between the security agents and the livelihood of the community. As we dissect deeper into the fate of the fishing communities in line to the new reforms that we've seen in the country as in regard to the operation on the different rivers. Here with me is a political analyst, one of the common faces that we've always seen on television discussing critical issues, especially on the social aspect that surrounds us. Allow me to introduce at this juncture our panelists for today. This is none other than Honorable Awekonimungo Proskovia, who will dive deeper into her self-introduction. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I am Awekonimungo Proskovia. I am a mother, a procurement personnel by profession. I'm a politician, should I say seasoned politician. I'm a two-time contestant for Women MP Pokwachi District. The first run was on an FDC ticket. Second run, I went independently, where I was still a second runner-up. Besides that, I am also a professional person. I have worked with a number of companies within my field, to mention but a few, but I'm still a politician to be.
Yeah, thank you so much. Still a politician, a seasoned politician, and yeah, it's nice that we are going to have a discussion this evening. Honorable, we have seen a lot of reforms have come in regard to fishing communities. In the past years, that is in 2022, we've seen operation of fisheries protection units in all the fishing communities around the country. And after some period of time, we saw in the wisdom of His Excellency, the President of Uganda, he withdrew the fisheries protection unit from the waters, and thereafter a bit of review was done to the fishing sector, which the implementation of the new review, a new reform, has just kick-started 1 month ago. Yeah, and we've seen the reforms now bringing in a lot of restrictions on water. Like, for example, we've seen only permission being given to 15 boats in a landing site. And as well, we've also seen reforms in line to the number of fishermen that are permitted within a particular landing site, only 45 fishermen. What do you think some of these reforms bring as maybe something new to the community that you live in, coming from the fact that you come from as well Junam, which happens to be a fishing community? What do you think are some of the changes that these reforms might bring to the livelihood of the community?
To begin with, I admit the fact that I am very, very Junam. I come from a Lui. I am mothered by a Panigoro woman, and I am a grandchild of Panimo. Literally, quarter percent of me is the only part that comes from where there is no water. The rest of it, that means the 70% is the Panigoro and the Panimo. That makes me more of a water-bodied woman, the Jonam that I am. When we are trying to make reforms, in my perspective as Proskovia, in everything I do, I try to think about the immediate affected person. And if the person is getting affected that way, what is the option B? Because before I take A, there is a plan B. restriction wouldn't be a very big deal if there was a plan B for that person who is going to get affected. Last year, I remember meeting the special presidential advisor through Team Sarah, YKM Cura House, where I posed a number of questions. They were trying to say the fisheries protection unit were kind of being very hard, what. I mean, I asked the advisors, like, who imposes this law? On whose interest are they working? Is it the third party? Is it the government of Uganda? Should it be certain individuals? And what are their interests? And how does that affect community? For example, by the end of last year, Panyimur SS had less than 45 students in class. When you moved around and collected that data, the answer is one. We are off the river, and so there is no source of earning. And so we cannot pay fees. So then it's okay that these are, right now, like they're saying 15 boats per landing site, 3 people in each, that is 15. So I mean 45. So that means we have literally 45 people who are going to be able to pay fees. What happens to the rest of the people? The person called a jonam is the person who eats, breathes, medicates, clothes, and does literally everything through the water body. I am a product of NAM, as they call it. My father was raised through fishing because he lived in Panigoro. If at all he paid fees for me today, thanks to the river. But now that's the generation. We are the generation they are sending out, not to educate our children. So I ask myself this: what is the future of those children in the next 10 years to come? And then right now they may tell you there is UP. Where is UP? The last time the Prime Minister went to Pakwach was like, there are government programs you're supposed to embrace, to take you out of poverty so you get out of the river. The PDM itself is selective. What happens to someone without a backup? You don't have fertile land. Me and you will agree with me that Pakwach land is not fertile for cultivation. The land is not fertile. The only gold we have, the river, is being restricted. What next for the future of Jonam? And then, if so, what is the plan B that the government has come with to help this person go to school still, help the affected person get medication, get food, feed, and live a decent life? PDM is a myth. When you move within Pakwach, I doubt you can get 50% of beneficiaries of PDM. There is a lady I spoke to in Pakwach. She told me that when the government brought PDM, after they had chased us from the water body, it found poverty squatting under the veranda. The moment they got the PDM and entered in, poverty said, Museveni, thank you, let's go. Food, clothing, mattress, everything. What else? I mean, you're not going to tell me to go and buy goats and raise when I'm sleeping hungry. Does it make sense?
Sure,
you're not going to tell me to go and buy, rent a plot and cultivate when my child is bedridden. So PDM comes, medication first, clothing first, my well-being. Sure. Then what is left to invest? Sure. Actually, it saddens me to hear that they are going to arrest those who have failed to pay. What are the criteria they are using? So for me, this thing, we've sung it all through Uganda about the beneficiaries. Talk of the size of the fishing net they want. Actually, I feel like the whole reinforcement is wrong on arrival. This is my argument of it. Pakwach is River Nile, Lake Albert. You're going to put the same enforcement on the River Nile or Lake Albert that you have on Lake Victoria. The 3-inch net, is it applicable in Pakwach? But it can be applicable on Panyimur. But you're going to find that both the Albert and the River Nile are having the same restrictions. Who loses? So if some of these restrictions in my own context should come to pass, let's sit together with the last man. I did procurement and logistics management. They always tell us that when you're doing specification, go to the end user. Then you have the technical bit of it. So let us bring the elites together with the people that are affected and we draw something that is friendly. Because you're not going to tell me to take above 3-inch on the river. That is shallow. The river is long but shallow. The lake is deep. These are two different things. Like for instance, that time they wanted some size of boat. The engine of that boat is around 9 million. And then you're going to fuel the engine. You're going to have a boat that is bigger. You're going to come with an earning of 5,000. Where do you get the engine from? That is where, as if at all that is what the government wants, why does the government bring it to the people on loan? Let them pay. I've seen now even funds come like M-Copper. You'll be paying 2,000 something. Let the fishing nets come. Because we are talking about a community that cannot afford. If they should have afforded, they would have left them to fish and brought the restriction. But this is something that just fell on them. So how do they get it? First of all, my option B is one, let the government bring that for us on loan. Number two, diversifying our economy. He's talking of a myoga. But then, PDM. The PDM implementation is wrong. In fact, for me, I felt like the amount should be even tripled, not just doubled. Because we are going to say that almost 30% is still going to settle them. If you want somebody to invest, the person must be healthy. A starving person can't invest.
So, are you trying to communicate to me that the wealth creation program that currently the country is running throughout is not enough to sustain the fishing community? Like maybe, for example, I've also seen the people in the cattle corridor, those who are affected because of the rate of poverty that has been striking them so hard, and the government also came with the initiative to give them some cows, five of recent they have begun in the Karamoja sub-region. Do you also think some of those initiatives can work for the fishing community of Uganda?
For example, that is if it comes to pass. Most of these government projects come to reality in written, but implementation is a minus. I have recently heard the MPs of Greater actually complaining till now of the president's promise of over 15 years ago. So the Karamoja thing, has it come to pass? That is also another question. Because we are not going to be singing, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, when actually we are following waves. Let there be an implementation. Let there be something to show for it. That's what I believe in. The seed that I have to show for it. However, if it had come to pass, like I have told you, if the fishing is supposed to be, the fishing nets are supposed to be brought on loan, it's okay. But then let's go back to the roots. These net companies are paying tax to the government. They are owned by some of the people in government. They manufacture these bad nets, so-called bad nets, and take to the market for who?
Definitely for the consumer.
And when the consumer buys, goes to the river, the army is going to beat. I actually had told my people of Jonam that if I had made it through, we were going to have a running battle with the army. Because if you caught somebody with an undersized net, go and beat the company, let the company go back to the government that gave it licenses to produce. Because I hardly believe that the president can produce poison for Ugandans to eat.
Sure.
So those, they should start from the roots. Let those companies be burnt. Let the nets that they require be brought on loan. Let them pay slowly. And then secondly, you cannot restrict to 15 people, 45 people. Jonam has over 88,000 people. Over. You understand?
Actually, statistics that they have around 211,000 population. Yeah.
I think I had spoken from the perspective of the voter register.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry about that. So sorry, I did in the political line. Sorry. So like, if I may say, these are 44 people you want times the few number of landing sites. How many families are going to go to school? Now look at the taxing alone. There is literally nothing. The fisherman, the fishmonger, the what?
The boat owner.
The boat owner. All these people are taxed. In the end, what do they have?
I get you.
What should have been for a cup of beans at home has gone to the government, created by the government and for the government. Where is the local man lying?
Okay, that reminds me, given the fact that in your perspective, the challenge that these reforms bring to the community is heavier, do you think this implementation will get the community into adapting to the new way of life? Because I want to also, let me not believe that it will be like a confrontation that we saw when government was implementing eviction of people from forest and game parks. Yeah, we saw a mixed reaction from the people until until government decided to actually bring in the communities and they reason together. That's when the community started understanding the perspective, the angle at which government is saying things. Do you think these recent reforms that are being pushed forward by the men in uniform going to get to a point where the community will have to adapt to it, or do you think it will have a mixed reaction from the fishing communities?
Definitely, it will have a mixed reaction. We may not, okay, the community cannot adopt. That is one thing for sure. But they will be forced to pretend they have adopted. That is one thing altogether. There is you accepting willingly, and there is you being forced
to accept.
I wish human beings were made in the nature of a cow. That you could take me to the river if I'm not thirsty, I don't drink. We would be better. In fact, we would have a better Uganda. But right now, there are certain people who command certain spaces at the cost of the majority. So the minority will benefit, of course, directly or indirectly. But then for me, those minority or whatsoever, I don't speak for them. I speak for the last man standing. That person cooking with the firewood is the person I speak for. You understand? So they will be forced to. But even at that, it is not going to be at average. It will still be below average because the irregularities will still be there, either through bribery. Uganda's surname is corruption. We all know. It doesn't matter how many times we are rising, we are fighting corruption, sending, taking away Rolls Royce. Those are all dramas. The big thing is hidden somewhere. It's as if, you know, they say, I'm giving you an example of a bleached woman. I'm sorry for that, my sisters. So you will take away, burn the skin completely, for instance, bad black. Time T, something is going to happen. That melanin will come back.
Sure.
And that is what is going to happen. Sure. So it's either they are going to bribe the so-called people. We've seen it happening. We've had, I don't want to mention names, but I know of a prominent businessman in Day to whom you will pay to and still fish illegally. But if you don't pay, the same man is going to track you down. So if you give him, so then if I have the money, why don't I give him than subscribe to this kind of harassment? I would rather give him and get my children go to school. So that's why I'm saying corruption is our DNA. It's a myth. We're still going to practice it. Even at this, the government will, actually, they will only lie. Sometimes I feel like the people close to the government do not give the right information. They want to look good. They want to keep positions. But the fact is, something is hidden somewhere. So we will do it illegally. Like it or not, it will happen. Though the majority who don't have the capacity will still suffer. Quite unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate for real. I wanted to also understand, do you think if the reforms were picked from a point of view of the community, do you think it could have done, it would have bring in some few changes here and there in the country, as in terms of revenue?
Very, very well. It would be flexible because it's absolutely hard to achieve less than average for something that has been last man best. Last consumer, the final consumer. It is hard for it to fail because you've tackled it from the layman's perspective, and then the technical people models it. It is consumer friendly. Yeah, it would yield much more than what we are seeing right now.
Yeah, I also want to take you back a little. You talked about government not having plan B. But of course, in the past 2 terms, we've seen government giving monies to the fishing communities to set up what we call fish cages. And Pakwach happens to be the beneficiaries. Do you think in one way or the other, we created the mess ourselves, not the government? What is your perspective? Because physically, when you go on the ground, I don't know whether there are some fish cages that you've come across in one of these days.
It goes back to what I have told you, that the few minority will benefit, but the last one will forever suffer.
Mm.
The so-called fish cage saga was there. When you go to the then authorities of the district, they will say it was in paper.
Oh.
And then a few of them will say, we did, the fishing community did not look after it. Then get back to the fishing community, they would swear upon their ancestors, they saw nothing. Now it goes back to what? To what I told you, that the government does things at the level of elites. Now, assuming, for example, if at all these fishermen were grouped or given a little bit of a circle managed by them, would it be better than going through the district?
Sure.
Wouldn't it yield better?
Sure.
So now, should we say the district failed or the fishermen failed? I leave that for you to research.
So, should we say the district failed or the fishermen failed? To me, I think maybe the implementation of the goodwill of the government felt in wrong hands. To me personally, as a person. However, of course, the implementers are often people that we pick from our own communities, and they are the ones. Maybe in this next time when Muse is saying, Team Kisanja no sleep, we might expect a few reforms.
I don't expect much. Hakuna mchezo came and we were like, there's no joking. What? Yeah. So people are used to Museveni speaking, but they'll be like, after all, where will he get me in Pakwach? And that goes back to the quality of leaders we elect. There are those leaders who are good at saying, let me get the women group and give them 100. But they are not going to follow up on government projects for God and my country. We have them in Pakwach. By the way, we've had that in Pakwach for a 3 term now. You don't see any government project implementing. Nobody is following. Be it the road structures are in private, political leaders' homes, going to their farms. The roots are there. So for me, it also, the people that we've put to also follow up on the government projects, I failure themselves. So when the fish gets rotten from the head, definitely to reach the tail.
Let's take the fishing community of Jonam, particularly Pakwach district, as a case study. We've seen a number of women getting themselves involved in sales of nang, those
fishmongers.
Yeah, those small fish that Pakwach has been branded of. Do you think some of these reforms that we are seeing being implemented and there, will it not affect those women in particular?
The community of Onang is going to be the most highly affected community. Reason being, that's why it all goes back to what I'm telling you. Some of these reforms should be addressed from the layman's perspective. Onang cannot grow bigger than it is. Even at that size, you find some eggs in it. That means it's mature and it can reproduce. Literally, if she was a woman, they would say she's 18. And you become an adult. So even if you had produced, in the eyes of your parent, you're young, but by the law of Uganda, you're 18. So you will never expect Onang to reach the size of Angara. And then you want a 3-inch for Onang.
Given the fact that a lot of people have adopted the delicacy of Onang, and every time they are passing Pakwach, one feel, I must test this Onang. So what do you think will be the fate? Because typically, when you look at the inches that get those nang, they are quite smaller and they are being condemned. Do you think Pakwach will lose its veg?
Definitely, according to the so-called restrictions, we lost it already. According to the so-called restrictions being implemented, we've lost it already. But Pakwach being the Pakwach that I know, we would rather go expensive than still have it. Because we will still get it by now. I don't know why there is this spirit of, should I say defiance? Should I say the layman spirit in me? That I feel like if I cannot get it the software, I'll go the hard way. And I still encourage the community of Pakwach.
But the goal is to get it.
Yes, the goal is to get it. You understand? Go for your nang because that is the size. Never give up. Go get it, sell, get school fees, get yourself helped. Because that is what you can do. I feel like I want somebody to be taken to court over that below inch something. I'm meaning they have caught a nang nang with a smaller fishing net and is taken to court. I don't want to miss that session because I'll have enough questions and I need answers. Even at this, the presidential advisor through Team Farah, I'm still waiting for the response because I asked on behalf of the people of Pakwach. I still wait for my response. One of these days, I'm storming their office to follow up. Yeah, because I must get answers.
Yeah. You also cited problems to do with the education sector as a whole. Besides that, do you think the youth fraternity in the entire community, in the entire fishing community, do you think these reforms are going to affect them in other ways?
Actually, if at all we had a 50% of school dropout and outs and the failure in the education system in that tenure, we are going to have an 80% right now.
Now,
Because it's as if we jumped from the frying pan to fire right now. You understand? Where we are now, we are direct in fire. So you expect the worst.
In the recent days, we've also seen the over 60% increase in cases of teenage pregnancies. And some of these factors attribute to the traditional understanding of our people having sometimes failed to pay school fees and meet some few requirements here and there. Do you think in one way or the other, some of these reforms might lead to an increase in such kind of calamities in the community, given the fact that you've already cited issues to do with problems of already dropout in schools?
Thinking would be an underword. I know. I don't think I know for sure that it's going to happen. Yeah. Because like I told you, when you look at Jonam, the land is not fertile, but we are trying to force. Even at this that we are trying to cultivate, above average of our foodstuffs come from out of Jonam. The neighboring districts of Paiza, we have some part of Acholi, you see, Ngor, Kata, and the rest. You understand? It will still communicate louder than we want to know that Jonam is not fertile. The little land that could have been fertile is where we are burying people on day and night in Palango. So what is left for Jonam? So it will actually increase, multiply times 10.
But also, do you feel that illegal fishing is bad?
Well, yeah, sure. Illegal fishing is bad.
And also, do you also feel that going with undersized nets is bad to the sustainability of the water resources?
Depending on the type of the fish and the type of the water, it could be good or bad. Like, for example, we just talked about Onang Nang. Like it or not, is an undersized. Is it bad? It is good, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, if you want, it depends on actually one, let's consider the nature and the type of the water. Is it a lake or a river? So something that is applicable on the lake should not be for the river. For me, that is the only problem. You see in church when we give offerings, they say if the right hand has given, let the left hand not
disclose.
So if it is for the lake, the river is on the left hand, the lake is on the
right hand side.
Pasiza, pamongo. That is it. Pa river, pa lake.
Okay. You also give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, is what Honorable Proskovia is trying to tell us. Yes, Honorable, I also wanted us to think deeper. Since we have a mutual agreement that illegal fishing is bad, and as well we have also agreed that using undersized nets are bad. What could have been recommendations that you could maybe give to the policy developers to maybe better the enforcement actually activities that are going on? Because generally the fishing communities in Uganda is not only Junam, it's actually covering majority of populations. And what could be those reforms that you could really give in that you feel might be in the right direction to ensure that maybe the community as well are not highly affected?
In my own context, I would think signing these allowances for MPs is a waste of time. Give that little allowance to the technocrats to go down, develop, formulate policy with the last consumer. And then get to the technical bit and intermarry to form a policy. That is one thing for sure. Number two, going back to where you say illegal fishing is bad, I said depending on the type of the water and the fish you are in. We gave an example of a nangan. So then another thing is, let us look at this water body in their different bodies in their different contexts. Let us look at the river as a river, the lake as a lake. When we are enforcing policies, let us enforce policies that are what? That apply to the what? To the lakes. When you look at the chart flow of, let's say, the Ministry of Water and Sewerage Corporation, you'll never hear Ministry of Water saying, go and pick the sewerage and dump into the water tank to pump. Because they know this belongs to the
sewage.
And this belongs to the clean water.
The clean water.
You understand?
Yes.
So let us partition that and we shall yield better. That's what I think.
So, I don't know. Do you also have a recommendation to the fishing communities of Uganda? As in, because whether I like it, whether you like it or not, the operation is still going to commence. Because, yes, what we can do is maybe talk to the people and see. So what are some of the few recommendations that you could have?
I feel like if I had the capacity, I wanted to run all through the country and gather some of those leaders of the fishing community. We sit together and storm the government authority. They should listen to us and make adjustment based on the last month. That would be the best. For me, that would be the best. Let them come together under their umbrella and be listened to. So the adjustments can be made in their favor. Actually, it should be a win-win position. It's not a compromise. It's a win-win
situation.
You win, I win. Because the government wants tax from me. How do I get the tax? I win, the government gets. So this should, I think the fishing community should rise up. Let them sit up together, let them air out their view, go to the highest. So it doesn't matter if they need to reach the State House. Let them walk to State House. They need to be listened to and adjustments need to be made so that we can move Uganda forward. Otherwise, we shall have the minority going higher and the layman only saying, hoye, hoye. What does it benefit a man? I don't believe in hoye without effects.
But also recommending that the community organizing themselves and trying to challenge some of these reforms.
Not challenge.
As in, of course, advocating for your right is in another language challenging what is already oppressing you. So I don't really mean rising as in to riot or to do any other things which are wrong, but what I mean is rising to peacefully demand for or advocate for their own position. That's what I mean. Do you think we have the quorum that the fishermen can use, that the fishing community can use to ensure that their voices are heard, and maybe some of the get-together perspective of yours can be addressed into?
I can assure you, if capacitated, I will get above quorum for the Jonam, because I've moved the entire Jonam and I've interacted with them. In less than 7 days, I will get above quorum. Now, the quorum is already there. The people we are talking to are not enlightened. The people we are talking to were not, actually they lack civic education. They were not told. Somebody comes and imposes something. Whether you understand it or not, you have to follow. You understand? But then, with the few, especially Trans Panyumura, I've spoken to almost 90%. Trans Wildlife, I've spoken to almost 60%. Panyugoro is home, that much you know. I've spoken to them. So, me alone, it takes me to raise that quorum you want, if capacitated. It takes me to make the change you desire. And if peace fails, we go the hard way. There are two options. If we try to rise up and we talk to the government, they can't listen to us. They can't make adjustments. They can't consider the last man. That means we go the hard way. So we require two in one. But I believe when we have the quorum and we address well, unless with a bureaucracy, the president is a listening person. The problem is the ladder through, the so-called me. That is where our problems are. And that is the DNA of the corruption. Because they know once you get there, something is going to be done, they lose. So they must always be there. You go west, they are west. You go, there must be a stumbling block there. And that is exactly where there is a problem. I can mention 5 in Jonam. But for the sake of peace on your TV, I withhold the names.
So, at least I also agree with you on the fact that our president is a listening person, because of late, of course, we've also been seeing brutality on the waters. A lot of corruption had risen high on water, but when the attention was brought to him, he was able to pick up and withdraw all the fisheries protection unit, and a revision in the whole system was brought. Let me get back to your last point when we're talking about the quorum. We know the country has leadership structures like the youth council, which starts from the village level up to the national level. The women council starts from the village up to the national level. The persons with a disability, and even the elderly council starts from the village up to the national level. Do you think if the fishing community uses these structures to address some of the plights that they have in regards to implementing these policies, don't you think there is going to be reforms here and there?
The reform can only come to pass if the structure has no top person that is a direct beneficiary to
of the process. Oh. So, meaning these councils are, in your own perspective, these councils are highly controlled by persons whose interest
very
as
good.
well.
For example, for the Day community, it is actually sorry, I'm going to let this person out, but I'm sorry. It's controlled by a body that is headed by the person who is a direct beneficiary. Like I told you, you give him something, you fish, and nobody will catch you. You fail to.
Now, I want to ask also to try to think deeper. Do you think water resource has other opportunities apart from just getting the fish that the young people or even the women can embrace?
Definitely it could. Much more, let's look at irrigation, comes also from the water bodies, to mention that a few. Definitely it is vast. Yeah, it's vast. It's irrigation, transport, whatsoever, you know, can also be used as a means of transport. We can swim here after and reach the other side.
Yeah.
Or we use the boat. So it's vast actually, depending on the context. But I don't think the transport bit can really yield much for our people. It is not something that can sustain.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
You were talking about Plan B at the beginning of our conversation. Do you think if resources is put into some of those opportunities, like for example, transportation, you also cited, okay, as you go through the fishing communities, I've always met young people having this water which they put in caveras for 100. So also we've also seen that the water itself is a resource that people have always used to make money in one way or the other. Do you think if resources is put in some of those kind of opportunities, don't you think it can translate to the fishing fraternities?
To begin with, my plan Bs. Okay, that is a fair, it's a good one also. Fine, it can yield. But when we are talking of yields, it is better to get something more or less the same. You cannot like go from a suit, very smart like a Jonah man like that. Then you say, you know what, let me just put on a back cloth like a Uganda. Doesn't work that way. If your suit fails, the coat is not there, at least there's a half suit in. You understand? A half coat, it still remains a coat, but a mini one.
Sure.
So when you're looking at Plan B, one of the Plan Bs I looked at was if the Jonams cannot afford the kind of fishing net the government want, why does the government bring them on loan? There is also the banning off of the industries that manufacture the undersized nets. There is also the diversifying the economy. The land is not fertile. Can we diversify trade? You understand? Pakwach can grow cotton, but how many families have the capacity to grow the cotton? So that it brings me back to a divide and rule policy. If the government actually wants us to eat, you know, actually the biggest problem I've seen in this government is when they are talking of northern Uganda, they cluster the entire West Nile into northern Uganda. And in the end, it is going to address the actually sub-region, and we are going to be left. And then when you also go to West Nile, it is literally going to address the Trans-Madi, Lubara, and the rest. Then you leave the Greater Nebi out. You understand? So why doesn't the government cluster these places into small units and address them at that? Huh? Let's say Greater Nebi, that is Pakwach, Nebi, Zumbu. Can we address them? Literally, you'll find this Pakwach that is affected. Is there a river in Nebi? Is there a river in Okoro? It's us, the donor. So the clustering will help you apportion correctly. When I come into your family, and I said I've bought councils for all of you, but I've bought councils. You're tall, I'm going to get a brother who's shorter. But for me, knowing that they have 5 boys, they have this and that, the time I'm coming, I'm going to say Ivan is size X, Gundi is size L, my 8 is size M, and so I address you accordingly. So there is the clustering is going to help the government afford more. There is some program I have seen. Actually, I will still maintain that Greater Nebi, we are more disadvantaged in the entire Uganda, that it takes something to look at us. Let's look at presidential screening hubs. How many are within Buganda alone? How many do we have in Greater Nebi? Recently, we got one in Zombo that flee from.
Actually, it's two for the entire West Nile.
2 for the entire West Nile. Are we still in the national map competing? Okay, they have many programs that you find. Recently, the president had a program, Yogera Nejaja, something like that, where you saw the Kasokos. They had a chance to sit with the president on round table. They're going to ask a few questions. They will talk. When Anita was the speaker, Teso got that luck. You understand? How many has come to West Nile?
0.
And in fact, Pakwach is the most disadvantaged. How many times has Museveni come to Pakwach? The first time they came with Mama Janet, I had her promising people pads. Today, we are waiting for Mama's pads. If I get a chance to meet her, I'll ask her, I say, Mama, we have also grown. I was below 10. I needed the pads. I've not used it. But I struggled my way through. Even at now, I still need it. Because I'm still there. You understand? The second time Zay comes, actually, he went to Nebi for the coronation, I think, of Orombi, OC5. That is where he says he's going to build for the chiefdoms. He's going to give Mabati to the women. I don't know if you remember that. The fishing cage thing, which among them was brought to pass. Then again, he comes this election and he asks us, are we going to sleep on the roads or we have to eradicate poverty in the house? Okay, in your own context, what did Museveni address when he came to Pakwach? Up to now, I'm still fighting to get sense in what he addressed. But I don't blame him. How is he supposed to know if the technocrats are not doing their work? So that is why clustering will make it better. You understand? In fact, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, let's wait for Mozi and see. Because we are waiting for him. Like me, I'm waiting for him. Okay. Maybe we can do better where you can reach. But without that...
allow me also take you to the perspective of conservation. Because, of course, the bottom line of the entire fishing reforms is focusing much on conservation. Do you think some of the old methods that were used by our the local leaders, I mean the traditional leaders, to ensure preservation is at its peak? Like, for example, before the coming of the British, when we were still in that cultural setting.
The rudimental methods.
Yes. A lot of things were happening, like, for example, before you go to the fishing, to the water bodies to fish, you needed to consult the
chiefdoms.
The chief, and also you needed to also give an accountability for what you've brought out. Do you think some of those could also work? for us?
The time the president said he wanted religious and local leaders to discuss with the management of the water bodies, I swear I wanted to run to the podium and tell Mzee, I want to vote for you 10 times. Because I believed in that. But up to now, I have not yet seen it being handed to the local leaders. Because this is what I call clustering or divide and rule. That chief, like for us, is Kerkwa Regional. They are responsible to certain authorities. But they also know how to deal with their community. You're going to send, for example, our commander was Naevari Stephen, somebody who doesn't even eat fish. What do you expect? But Jacom eats fish. And then he knows how to work with these subjects for the glory of the government. Should I use that word? Amen. In religion, that's what we say. You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, if at all Zay thinks of bringing the local leaders to manage or to conserve, like you said, with our water bodies, it will be just perfect, a 10 over 10 minus nothing. Because this is what I call win-win. The leaders know us and we know them. They listen to us in as much as we listen to them. But what about that one? For example, if somebody is crying on the river in Jonam, will Naevare listen? Will he understand?
No.
He might hear noise and say, those are people who have drunk abatamivu, and he goes. But the moment you're going to cry, they have shot my leg, Jacob will hear. He's calling you as a subject. They are going to treat you. And then later on, you're going to face a disciplinary. You would have learned. How many people have we buried in the Greater Jonam because of the so-called operations of the Fisheries Protection Units? How many graveyards do we have? Did you hear that when we had the chiefdoms? No. But were the people not disciplined?
We are disciplined.
You look at my grandfather, my great-grandfather Lay, bring Atia, bring Masinga, bring my father. We still ate fish. That 4 generations. I am still here. My children are still eating. Don't you think our fathers did better? But also naturally, the environment with a lot of developments is also changing. So it also affects the water bodies. But I still believe that when these chiefdoms are equipped with a bit of technocrats, they are best in the position of management of these waters compared to the men in uniform.
Wow.
And it would yield better.
So, I don't know, do you have some specific appeal that you would give to the fishing communities of Uganda as we come to the conclusion of this session?
I think I need much more time to study the lake part of it, let alone that bit of Panymoor. I need to study much of the Lake Victoria because I felt like I sank myself into where I belong. Now you're tasking me to broaden. You understand? So when I get a broader version, I will maybe give a better appeal. But for now, I speak for Pakwach. I feel like these people should stand up, unite, speak for themselves, and they should be heard for them to still exist. They need to coexist. That is what I ask for. Let us not keep quiet. Let us talk. It is where we are. It's like you have a boil in between your bum. Then you go to the doctor that there is a boil somewhere. No, you said daktara koda tiekene ya diga, let you be helped. But when you say there's a boil somewhere, why will the doctor start helping you? So these people, let them come together, speak for themselves with honesty and be truthful. But above all, I feel like let them not give power to leaders who are direct beneficiaries, because that is the beginning of their downfall. Let them elect people who are community oriented. You understand? In as much as they want to implement the government directives, let them also think about the people, like I said, a win-win. That will be far much better for us. Yes.
Thank you so much. Viewers, this has been Proscovia, political analyst. Not only political analyst, like he has said, a veteran, a seasoned politician.
A politician still to be. I'm still a politician.
Still a politician and still politician to be.
For record purpose, a contestant woman MP for District 2031.
Oh, 2021?
2031.
2031.
Contestant.
Oh, already aspiration for 2031 being received live from Honorable Mungu Proscovia. We will always get back to hear how the journey is moving and how much you're getting closer to your community. But me to you, I wish you all the best. Thank you all for keeping tuned to Faraja Digital TV. We are always here with you, giving you a series of issues pertaining governance, and it has been a pleasure having you on this particular show. Big up to all fishing community. Like Aweka Unemungu Preskove has stated, it is right time for us to unite and ensure that our voices are heard. Don't give powers to those that will not uplift your voices. That is in her own words. Thank you all and keep tuned to the show.